What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and episode 3 of the LMP podcast. First things first, welcome if you are new here, and if you are returning, welcome back. It's Hangover Gang forever. All my HOG fam, shout out to you. Tom is dropping a brand new video Friday, 9 a.m. That's going to be 11 a.m. CST my time. And I could not be more excited. He gave a hint that it's going to be Castles-esque, or it's kind of got that vibe to it. I don't know, but it's going to be special, and I have no doubts, and I'm very excited to react to it here on the channel. You know, it's rare that we get new Tom songs on here. Well, it's not rare because he drops a lot, but I do share those reactions with the Bitter Betty podcast. So if you want to see some of our reactions that may not be on here, go check out that channel, especially because we're going to be going live at 7 p.m. on Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be reacting to Ren and Prof's new video that they're dropping Friday. We're going to be watching reactions to Tom and Ren and Prof, and then we have giveaways and games. We love playing the games. They get really, really fun. And then the giveaways, Deadhead is going to be drawing a personalized portrait of Ren, and I have a Tom MacDonald shirt to give away. It's a charity shirt from the Memorial Day drop. It says Hangover Gang supports our troops, so somebody will be getting that. But we're gonna have a good time, so go over and subscribe to the Bitter Betty podcast and keep your eye out. Hit the notification so you know when we go live. And Deadhead, we should be dropping the information, the details on the channel throughout the week, with all the information on how you can put your name in the drawing to win. So that being said, we're going to get into American Dreamz. Now, we've been covering songs that kind of were misunderstood, maybe by fans, by reactors, by the public, whatever it is. You know, it's always something. And this one did come up quite a few times, but after speaking to my homegirl Tracy, shout out to my hog sis Tracy, you know, I really wanted to do this video next. So I have this from her. This is what she said when we were talking about it. Because I felt after I'd heard this song, like, I feel like in the beginning Tom might have leaned a little bit more left, or was a little bit more liberal at some point, and kind of as, you know, events unfolded from the time something like Dear Rappers dropped till now, a lot in the world has changed, which totally makes sense. And so we were discussing that, you know, potentially there is a difference in views maybe from then till now, but overall I think people only saw the surface message and not the underlying message that Tom was trying to impart to people. Okay, this is what she said. Yes, he definitely leaned left or more old school liberal like myself, but that song, I believe he was trying to point out how more gun control is not going to fix the issue of school shootings, etc., and that politicians only use that as a way to gain votes. We don't want a politician making money off of bullet holes. Then he points out how guns and mass killers are glorified in movies and entertainment. Parents who aren't being responsible gun owners or watching their kids. He is basically saying the problem is not one-sided. We are all responsible for the gun crime in some way. So when she said that, I was like, yeah, I agree with that. So I started listening to the song more and really kind of taking a look at the lyrics in a different way. I've watched some reactions, kind of saw what other people were thinking, and, you know, kind of just listened to what everybody else on my page and through the videos and everything was saying. So that's kind of where we're going to start. So shout out to Tracy for helping me kind of get some information on this, because I was not around at this time. So I'm playing catch up in a sense. All right, we're going to get into it. Let's go. Tom MacDonald, American Dreamz.
We're making murderers famous. They kill a bunch of kids and get on all the front pages. I don't know none of the victims. I know the guns in the system promote the ones who are dangerous.
Okay. So, right from the start, this one hits right away. We're making murderers famous. They kill a bunch of kids and get on all the front pages. And if you're talking about school shootings, probably mostly, but even mass shootings, like, you think about it, and really, we make the murderers famous. Like, you think about the school shootings and stuff. Do you remember the victims? Do you really ever hear about the victims? You hear about the person who committed the crime. And in essence, they have become, famous in that sense. Now everybody knows who they are and what they've done. And some people will even do that for attention. Which is crazy. I don't know none of the victims. And just like what I said, you don't know the victims. And it's always about the killer or the shooter or whatever. You never really remember the victims. They don't talk about the victims. I know the guns in the system promote the ones who are dangerous. This line actually gave me pause, and I really had to think deep on this one. But when I think, I've always said that, like, I am so pro 2A because criminals don't get guns legally. But the guns that exist in the system, whether it be the system of, just everything. The guns they confiscate from criminals, the guns that people get illegally, even if people get them legally, some people steal them. Like, the guns in the system, they end up promoting the ones who are dangerous, And that's really, really unfortunate. Because I do feel like guns are necessary, because there are so many. Like, you couldn't try to confiscate them all, I think, even if you tried. And even if you tried, they'll find a way to get them. But making murderers famous, that line really, really kind of hit me, because I realized, we don't ever talk about the victims. I don't really know who the victims are. I might know the number of victims. I'll know how many died, how many casualties, how many injuries. Maybe if somebody's on life support, but I don't know their names. I don't remember their faces. But I can tell you a lot. I can recognize a lot of serial killers and mass shooters and school shooters. And that's wrong. So.
We're making murderers famous. They kill a bunch of kids and get on all the front pages. I don't know none of the victims. I know the guns in the system promote the ones who are dangerous. It's become entertainment. We got t-shirts and posters covered in murderers' faces. We got movies getting made portraying killers as saviors, and parents leaving kids alone at home with guns in the basement.
Oh, man. Yeah. And just like I was saying, it's become entertainment. Like, video games, movies, music, all of it. It's all become entertainment. Like, which is funny to me. I'll get to that in a second. We got t-shirts and posters covered in murderers' faces. Literally. We got movies getting made with trained killers as saviors. So, like, literally, you think about these assassins, CIA, like, people who are not, in the movie it may be a moral reason, but it is what it is, right? So trained killers, like assassins, like you look at something like John Wick, right, as saviors. And trust me, I love John Wick series. Keanu Reeves, love him. But it's true. We turn something that generally would be very bad, a criminal act, and then we glorify it and make it something good and something to almost aspire to, right? And that could even encourage vigilantism at some point, right? And parents leaving kids alone at home with guns in the basement. And that's absolutely true. And I come from a family who has guns. My uncle is a gun collector. My cousin is a big time hunter. His kids hunt. But safety has to be the number one thing. And a lot of these kids get a hold of guns. The parents are not putting them in a good gun safe. They're not keeping them out of reach of these children, and they get a hold of them, and then there's accidental shootings. You hear about that. I've heard about it. And it is one of the most tragic things, because it was so unnecessary, but people don't seem to take it as serious to keep these guns locked away. You don't need to keep it in a drawer by your bed. It's, and if it is, it better be in some kind of safe. Like, you have to protect your kids. And so, one thing that me and Tracy kind of talked about was, this wasn't just about the political aspect of pro 2A or, non-pro 2A or against it or whatever, anti-pro 2A. It is literally about the fact that everyone is responsible for the action, for the outcome, right? Like, there's usually some kind of signs. There's a lot of things that come before the action, And nobody wants to take accountability for all that stuff. They want to blame the gun. The gun was just the outcome of all this other shit. You know, so it's like, if you don't attack all the other shit, getting rid of the gun is, it doesn't matter, because they're going to find a different outcome. They'll just find something else to use. Or they'll just find it illegally. So yeah. In fact, Mr. L. Boyd Reacts had something good to say about this whole subject. Watch this.
Parents leaving kids alone at home with guns in the basement.
Damn, dude. He's right. I'm going to point out something that has to do with this topic of conversation slightly. There are some people who are like, I don't like rap music because all they're doing is promoting guns and violence and like debauchery, right? But these are the same people who generally will want to see one of the new action movies that promote all the exact same things within the first week of its release. I smell contradiction.
All right, getting back into it.
We got t-shirts and posters covered in murderers' faces. We got movies getting made portraying killers as saviors, and parents leaving kids alone at home with guns in the basement. Would you pull me from a burning car, run to get your phone so you can film me yelling world star? A gun don't make a soldier with a purple heart. A gun cannot protect us if we don't know where our morals are.
Ooh, man, so much to say about this too. Would you pull me from a burning car or run and get your phone so you can film me yelling world star? If this is one of the things I really do not understand. And it's so funny because I think, when I first heard this song, like, I don't know, I didn't get it. I didn't get the depth of the song at first. I got the surface message, right? I didn't get the depth of it. And now that I think back to, like, kind of everything that's happened since 2020, since really even 2019 or even before that, I'm sure, but like, I didn't get into politics until 2020. So, but, I noticed that every time, like, people were dying, you can look at something like George Floyd. Even, like, there was so many people filming. There's always somebody filming, and it's not police cam footage. It's just people filming. Like, there was people filming, and, like, if, nobody engaged, nobody tried to help, nobody tried to do anything different. They just filmed it. And then they put it on the internet for everyone to see, like, for clicks, for views. I mean, how cold-hearted are you that you would film someone dying and then put it on the internet? That's crazy to me. In fact, Doc Rich had a great thing to say about this. Watch this.
Basement. Would you pull me from a burning car, run to get your phone so you can film me yelling world star? A gun.
The most recent situation that we can all look back to is the XXX Tentacion situation, where the guy was sitting in his car, shot, and later we found out he was dead in this video, where somebody didn't decide to call the cops, but they decided to grab their phone and start recording this dead, well, even if they didn't know he was dead, which obviously we found out later he was actually dead in the video that made its rounds around the internet. Even if they didn't know he was dead, like, you didn't think to call for help? Like, you just grabbed your phone and started recording this lifeless body? Like, he's not moving. Like, what are you doing? It's not like he's moving and dialing 911 himself. He's not moving. And you grab your phone just like Tom MacDonald, just so you can be on World Star.
So yeah, you see, a gun don't make a soldier with a purple heart. A gun cannot protect us if we don't know where our morals are. This is so deep on so many levels. Okay, a gun don't make a soldier with a purple heart. So layers to this, right? So a gun doesn't make a soldier. the soldier, the soldier makes the soldier. Like, everything a soldier goes through to be a soldier, and especially if you're in combat, if you are getting a Purple Heart, like, so a double here, right? Purple Heart being an award you get, but also the having the heart, basically Purple Heart, like a hero's heart, right? Like having the inner fortitude to fight and overcome. But a gun doesn't do that, right? So it's the person who makes the person's actions themselves, their own choices, make them hero worthy of something like a Purple Heart. It's not about the guns. This is playing more, Chom trying to portray, trying to show everybody that, like, it's not the guns. Like, a gun does not make the man. The man makes the man. And, Eddie 22Y, he also had a story that resembled that. Watch this.
Students
Facts. So I'm gonna just say this because I feel like I could just, this is the perfect time to say this, because my pops, I told y'all, some of y'all, if y'all know, my pops is a veteran, so he knows the gun. He was the one that, so he was the weapon instructor or whatever. So he knows how to use a weapon, what you need, what type of person can handle a weapon, stuff like that. So he told me, like, the gun, when someone wrong that doesn't deserve a gun gets a gun, they feel like they get like an ego boost, like a little power boost, thinking they're above the regular person now who don't have a gun. So they get that little ego boost. Now they can't wait to use that gun. They can't wait to tote that gun. So any little small inconvenience that could be resolved by just talking, or just, just bending the knee a little bit and let the other person have it, they want to tote the gun just to let you know, I have the gun and I will shoot you. And then most of the time end up shooting you. Now you're in jail, you lost your life.
All right, take it back just a little bit.
if we don't know where our morals are. Students fill the classes and the graves, and you claim it's a conspiracy to take your guns away. All the while the family's torn apart and trying to ask why the son deserved to die at his desk in his class.
Oof. That one definitely hits hard because there has been a lot of school shootings, and I don't know why, but it's just so much worse when it's a child, children are innocent, it's just devastating. It really is. Students fill the classes and the graves, and you claim it's a conspiracy to take your guns away. I know a lot of people probably felt some type of way about that line, but it's true, okay? We use tragedy, or politicians use tragedy to legislate instead of actually, like, focusing on the real issues. They use these horrific acts by these people to push agendas or to for leverage. It's just it honestly, it's kind of disgusting. Not kind of disgusting, it's actually disgusting. Both sides do it, right? Like, they use it to fight against the other side, and instead of actually just focusing on the issues. Okay, this happened, how can we make this not happen anymore? Like, after 9/11 happened, every airport in America had the most beefed up security ever. So many checks. And the fact that we haven't put money into our school districts and our school systems in order to help with mental health, help with bullying, help with counseling, help with security. We spend money on so much stuff. The government spends money on everything else except for the real issues that matter. And they use it as a political ploy. And that's what he's saying here, is that, the students they're in the classes, they get shot in these school shootings, and then the only thing that actually comes of it is politicians trying to legislate and use the tragedy as leverage or as a way to further an agenda. It's terrible. So I understand why people might feel that they're saying like they don't have a reason to think that. I mean, because it's not that they aren't, like, yes, there are people who are trying to get rid of our Second Amendment rights. They would see everyone gunless, except for the criminals, because the criminals aren't going to care and they're not going to follow the rules. you know, and then it says, all the while a family is torn apart and trying to ask why their son deserved to die at his desk in his class. And that is exactly what I'm saying, is like, you know, to those people who lost their children, they don't care about the legislation. They're not worried about pro or anti 2A. They're, why did this happen and why aren't they doing something to prevent it? You know, it always ends up coming down to politics in some way, it seems like. And they would manipulate a tragic act by a mentally sick person in order to further push their agenda, instead of just actually trying to solve the problem. And it's funny, Mr. B. Lloyd said this.
The son deserved to die at his desk in his class.
Tom, you're not allowed to speak about that. Because I did the other day. For some reason, said basically the same exact thing you just said, Tom. But people are really angry at me for some reason for saying the same exact thing he just said.
Because Tom actually did take heat for this song, which, you know, I didn't obviously find out until later. But Tracy actually went a deep dive down the Facebook rabbit hole, and she found some posts where Tom actually addressed this. So Mr. B. Lloyd is not the only one who is taking heat for said statement. Tom did too, and he actually addressed it. So this would be a great time to share this with y'all, because I think it'll maybe clear up some things as well, especially moving forward. So this was from April 1st, 2018. Now this song came out in March 30th. So this was just days after, okay? Said, seems like my new video, American Dreamz, has tons of people really mad. Are you one of them? Let's talk. Firstly, this song is not about guns as objects or about guns in the hands of good people. This song is about guns in the hands of evil, unknowledgeable people with ill intent. Furthermore, this song is about much more than just guns. At its core, this song is primarily about the deconstructive nature of North American culture and the violence that our lack of compassion continues to perpetuate. The glorification of firearms, the politics that profit from our current state of distress, the hostile environment that we have created for ourselves. Secondly, I don't think guns should be taken away. I don't support the banning of firearms, the removal of rights, or the redrafting of any amendments, period. So for anybody wondering where Tom stood, there you go. Even in 2018, Tom was definitely pro-A. The message just got a little confused. However, I do support people's yearning for some form of progressive change in regards to gun control. I agree. Like I said, we have to figure out the deeper root of the problem. Guns are not just the problem. Keeping guns out of people who are mentally unwell, keeping guns out of their hands, that should be a priority as well. And people can argue all day, no, you can't do anything. No, we have to protect the people. It's not just about you. And I'm sorry if that's an unpopular opinion, but it takes a village. It takes all of us. It takes us being safer with guns, and locking them up, teaching our kids, proper gun usage, like how to make sure the safety's on. Like, if you can teach your kids from a very young age. My cousin is proof of that with his sons. They start at a very young age in a very controlled environment. So if you're going to have guns, that's what you do. Not only that, but everyone, working on mental health, protecting our schools, looking for signs. There's so much we could be doing that we're not doing, and that's the problem. So just blaming guns, whether or not you take them away or whatever, is not the problem. But keeping guns out of hands of bad people, that should be a priority as well. That is a countermeasure for some of the shit that's happening. Let's see here. Only because it has the potential to save lives that could potentially belong to my mother or my father or my sister or my girlfriend. Like I just said, right? To protect everyone. We all have to work together to accomplish that. There's no amount of legislation that is going to magically fix it. We actively have to attempt to fix it. Thirdly, as an artist in a world being ravaged by censorship, I have a responsibility to speak the truth in my heart at the top of my lungs when I want to, where I want to, however I want to. Regardless of how people feel, that's part of my job description. I will never allow fear of ridicule to distort or manipulate my message in any way, shape, or form. Honesty and authenticity are rare and difficult qualities for an artist to maintain in the music industry today. Facts. Please be thankful that I downright refuse to sell my integrity. I am very thankful. Thank you, Tom. Lastly, we can disagree. We're different people. Just because you like apples and I like oranges doesn't mean that I won't support your right to like apples. Get that apple. Eat that apple. Enjoy that apple. I'll sit right next to you with my orange while you do it. This is the land of the free. Let's not be allergic to one another's differences in opinion. It's counterproductive. Let's analyze our differences, understand our differences, and keep living however the hell serves us best. End rant. Y'all. Love you, T. So, Tom had quite a bit to say about that, and I agree with what he said, 100%. So, but let's move on, shall we?
In his class. We don't want a politician making money off the bullet holes. They're digging our grave, the home of the brave has gone up in flames. Give a fuck about the system.
I just stopped there. We don't want a politician making money off of bullet holes. They're digging our graves. The home of the brave has got up in flames. I thought about that line for a long time. Like, what did he really mean by that? And to me, when he says they're digging our graves, like literally their refusal to actually address the real problems and issues and actually start working together to at least legislate something that is going to help improve everything. They're basically digging our graves because we're the ones paying for it, the people, not those people, right? The home of the brave has gone up in flames. The home of the brave, as in like neither side are willing to cooperate in any way, shape, or form at this point, that it's literally listening to this song, especially right now, it does feel like it's going up in flames. Literally though. I think Tom was just ahead of his time with this song. Like, the home of the Braves does feel like it's going up in flames, and not just because of gun violence, but because all of the shit going on and the fact that everyone is so divided and everyone is so at each other's throats that the real issues, the important issues, the things we should be focusing on are getting lost in the sauce, for real. Give a fuck about the system. We're not doing what we're told. The land of the free is armed to the teeth, American dreams. And that's true. We're not doing what we're told. That's the key right there. A lot of people aren't doing what they're told. Not giving up your guns, not giving up the guns, not going to do it. So we need to figure out how do we make life better with guns in existence. So, right. Like with Pro 2A all the way, how do we make it better?
The land of the free is armed to the teeth, American dreams. We're distracted by free porn and compilation videos of puppies and kittens. While our children use the internet to bully one another and then purchase ammunition.
Yeah, it's people definitely distracted by the free porn. But the compilation videos of puppies and kittens, I feel attacked, Tom. I happen to love watching compilations of puppies and kittens. Dogs, animals in general. I like it. But he's got a point. It's like everyone is so distracted with all this other stuff, like stuff that is kind of meaningless, and the children are using the internet to bully one another. So like while we're all being entertained on, YouTube, literally we're on our phones and social media, our computers, our phones all the time, right? They're literally almost never out of our hands in some instances. Like you walk through a restaurant these days, everybody's on their phone. You go into anybody's house and it's a group party, I guarantee a bunch of people on their phones, right? But while they're being distracted, while they can't be bothered to pay attention to what their children are looking at or what their children are doing, and their children are bullying each other, and that's leading to some of these issues, right? So if it doesn't start in the home first, if you're not teaching your children how to, respect one another, and you're not teaching your kids how it's, how inappropriate it is to bully, and you're not paying attention to these things, that's when, like, so the people who are raising the kids and letting them bully these other kids, and then the kids end up becoming a school shooter, like, those people are just as responsible for that outcome. They were one of the domino pieces that fell that got it there, right? Like, everyone plays a part. It's not just guns. It's a much bigger issue than that. And that's what he says. Bully one another and then purchase ammunition. That's what happens. They bully one another, and then some kid who's mentally unstable for who knows how many other reasons, because a lot of times maybe there is something wrong at home, or maybe there's other underlying issues. Maybe they were abused at somewhere, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like, we need to wake up. Is what it comes down to. We need to start existing more in reality instead of virtual reality.
So addicted to your phone that you ignore the kids and never give them any supervision. So they learn to build a bomb of things you keep inside your kitchen, and you wonder how they ended up with life inside a prison.
Yeah. Ooh, like we were just saying, addicted to your phone that you ignore the kids and never give them any supervision. And literally, and not only that, but many people, I would be guilty of it. I have friends guilty of it. We just give our phones, our tablets, we give all this technology to the kids. Here, play this video game, do this, do that, right? Instead of actually watching, you just want to be left alone. People don't really want to engage with their kids anymore. It's not everybody. Some people do. Some people are amazing. I'm not saying anybody's bad parents, but at the end of the day, we've gotten comfortable using all this technology and everything to entertain our children. And then eventually, those kids that are being bullied on the internet are using the internet to literally figure out how to make a bomb, or really anybody. I mean, you could say that for people who are like brainwashed, about terrorism or whatever, but like you can find all this information online. So you're not supervising your kids. Now they've literally found stuff in your kitchen to make a bomb, and they're blowing up something. And you wonder how they end up in prison, or they commit crimes in any sense. So like, it's not even just about guns, right? Without the lack of supervision and stuff, these kids are doing whatever they want. They're dabbling in drugs earlier, starting to smoke, starting to drink, being intimate with each other. I mean, all of it way earlier than my generation or the generations before me, because we've gotten very comfortable being oblivious to all the rest of it. And that's why they end up in prison. You got to be there. You have to be the guiding light for your kids throughout their entire life. Even as adults, I still need my mom. I still need my dad, and I'm a grown ass woman, like a whole ass grown ass woman, right? Damn.
We mourn a dead gorilla, but don't care when it's a person. We're forgetting that we're human. We're angry the chickens are being locked up in cages, and then forget we do the same to kids in our institutions. When they ask you about stupid, you tell.
Oh my goodness. Let me take it back. We mourn a dead gorilla, but don't care when it's a person. We're forgetting that we're human. We're angry that chickens are being locked up in cages, and then forget we do the same thing to kids in our institutions. We mourn a dead gorilla, talking about Harambe or whatever. It's so funny how outraged people get over that, but they don't care when it's a person. Yeah, they would mourn a gorilla, it's especially the shit that's filmed, right, that they put online. It's like people are outraged, but they don't really give a shit when it's a person, like, and then they get outraged over the chickens in cages, which and I do too. Like, I've seen it. They just stuff them all into one big area and feed them stuff that's not necessarily healthy for them. And literally they do the same things to kids in schools. Like, the food they serve in school is not very healthy. And they just cram them all in and expect them to perform. And, instead of like, I can make a whole other video just on the school system. Don't even get me going there. But you know, it's this cookie cutter school programs that they're really just like, they're just putting out worker bees, right? Like they teach you how to work 8 hours a day. If you don't go, you get in trouble. You know, you get so much time for lunch or recess. Like everything is on their schedule. They're basically just training you for a career job so you can be a good little worker bee, go into the world and pay your taxes, right? Like that's what it comes down to. It's not really about, you know, building these kids up for success by finding out early on what they're good at, what they're talented at, you know, where their strengths are, because not everybody's made for college. Some people might do better at a technical school, you know, and they should be figuring that out way ahead of time and helping guide these people. Instead, we take a lot of classes that we don't even need. So I'm going to get off, but I'm saying that, you know, people get outraged about a lot of things that honestly, we should be changing them all. You know, we should be treating animals better, especially, I mean, even if they are food, you know, it's like, I mean, it's just like, why would you be, how could, I don't know how people let that shit happen, okay? Like, it hurts my heart to see animals treated like that, but it hurts my heart too to see humans treated like that. So why can't we just treat everyone and everything better? That's what I say.
Up in cages and then forget we do the same to kids in our institutions. When they ask you about stupid, you tell them they should Google it, then wonder why the troubled youth are homicidal lunatics. You think it's tragic when a shooter kill a student, but then say it's all a plan for them to change the Constitution.
Oh, yeah. When they ask you about stupid shit, you just tell them they should Google it, then wonder why the troubled youth are homicidal lunatics. You know, it's crazy. Yeah, if you do tell someone the rabbit holes you can go down by just Googling something, right? And that's just another thing. Like, you don't even want to talk to kids. You just want to send them to Google. They're going to read whatever propaganda or agenda is on their whatever. Like, every website, especially if it's new stuff, is very biased, right? And that's on both sides. It's very hard to find a unbiased news source these days. Or stories, even in the music industry, right? If they don't like you, they're going to trash you in their story, and they're going to make everyone think you are this type of person, right? So you just go to Google and you read stuff that might not even be true. And then, you know, I would say an example of this would be, there was a transgender student that was female to male, okay? So a transgender boy, I guess, who had shot up I think it was a Christian school. Correct me if I'm wrong. That individual was being led to believe a certain thing about a certain type of people and then acted upon it, right? And it's just, that person could have been pushed to just what they saw online, what the news was telling them. And then they acted out, and we wonder why these people are going crazy when there's so much fear mongering on both sides that people act out in these ways because it's literally making them snap. You know, you think it's tragic when a shooter kills a student, but then say it's all planned for them to change the Constitution. You think it's tragic when a shooter kills a student, but you really don't want to do anything about it, right? Like, everybody is so dead set on not having any type of gun control, and gun control is not taking away. It's just making sure, like, you know, maybe you're required to do a freaking psychological evaluation once a year or every 6 months, or I don't know, something, right? Like, I feel like there's shit we can find. Hey, and that creates new jobs. I'm telling you, we can make this shit work. Oh, it's a little give and take, right? Things have changed. Things are different. We need our guns. Trust me. I know. But we also need to take care of the crazy people. Okay, we don't need the crazy people. Let's make sure. Let's try and have less crazy people, especially less crazy people with guns. Okay, because I talk a big game, but I'm chicken shit. Okay, I don't want to be shot. I really don't. So if we could prevent that by any means necessary without taking away guns, I'm here for it. Right? I'm here for the discussion. And that's the biggest problem, is I feel like people don't want to discuss anything anymore. Like, or people can't discuss anything anymore without getting really, really upset. Instead of really just trying to put yourself in that person's shoes, look at it from a different angle and think, okay, if they feel this way and I feel this way, what is something that can meet in the middle that can benefit us both and maybe help remedy the situation, right? Even if it's 89% better, it's 89% better, right? That's almost 100%. Like, we can work together to get there. And then you say it's a plan for them to change the Constitution. So, like, it's like you just get stuck on the fact that there are people who are like, this only happens because they want to change, the Constitution. I've heard that some of the shootings are like setups and they weren't real. I haven't dived into that, so I'm not gonna say one way or another. I'm sure somebody's gonna let me know in the comments, but I think it's one of those things where it's people say it's tragic, but they're not willing to take any accountability, or they're not really willing to do anything to fix the problem. So if it is really truly tragic, then we should be doing everything in our power to make sure it doesn't happen again, or as little as possible. That's all I'm saying.
We don't want a politician making money off the bullet holes. They're digging our grave, the home of the brave has gone up in flames. Give a about the system. We're not doing what we're told. The land of the free is armed to the teeth. American dreams. Yesterday will be the same as tomorrow if we don't wake up today.
I absolutely love that bar right there. Yesterday will be the same shit as tomorrow if we don't wake up today. And that is so true. And I think that's the overarching like message in this song. I feel like is like, nothing is going to change. We're still going to have these mass shootings, these school shootings, if we don't wake up now and realize that us fighting each other over the solo concept of 2A, pro 2A, anti 2A, there's much bigger issues. There's way bigger things we could be doing and more steps we could be taking to make sure these things don't happen anymore. It's not just about the guns. And literally, that's what Tom's saying is like, everybody's making it about just pro 2A or anti 2A when there's all this other stuff that if you attacked this stuff, the gun stuff wouldn't matter because you would be attacking, like, you would minimize everything else. And I think that was, and I love it. And that's what's so special about his music is that it has so much substance and so much depth and so much thought into it that it always amazes me. Like, I can listen to a song several times, and until I really just break it down line for line, sometimes the smallest things can escape me. But and I think Tulip Mafia felt the same as me. Watch.
I freaking love this video, man. I love Tom MacDonald. Tom MacDonald is my freaking brother from another mother, but you wouldn't be able to tell because the messages are clear. What we're trying to get out to you, what we're trying to get out to the world, what we want y'all to hear, what we want the world to hear. It's real hip hop, it's real music, it's real messages, and it's substance behind everything. Not only he's saying and that I'm saying, but it's messages behind what you got to say. You just need to speak up. Wake up.
All right, guys, let's finish it out.
We don't want a politician making money off the bullet holes. They're digging our grave, the home of the brave has gone up in flames. Give a about the system. We're not doing what we're told. The land of the free is armed to the teeth. American dreams.
Woo. One thing I also really, really, really love about this video or the song itself is how he let the beat be just this subtle, dramatic, kind of like support system for the lyrics themselves. Like, the lyrics and the message were the star of this song, which I absolutely love. There's some songs that like instantly I vibe with because the beat is so dope, because Tom's beats are amazing, and I love this beat too. I love the dynamic aspect to it. I love that it has this kind of like angsty you know, sorrow, but also like cinematic, dramatic feel to it, because what he's saying is very serious. And it is, there's a lot of drama surrounding it, but I think at the end of the day, he really came through with this message. Like, and if people could just, I feel like Tom's music almost makes you pause, go back and listen again, and that's when the message is really received, you know, because there's so much depth to what he has to say. So I love this song even more now that I understand it better. So maybe you do too, or hopefully it helped clear some things up for people. And if anything else, everyone knows that Tom is 2A and doesn't think we should be taking guns away. So if that was ever a question, it is no longer a question. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, I will be reacting to Tom's new song at 9 a.m. his time. That's PST. And I will have that out as soon as possible. And we'll be going live at 7 p.m. on the Bitter Betty podcast channel with giveaways and games and reaction to Ren and Prof and all the fun stuff to be had. So, well, let me know in the comments what song you think I should do next. One of my friends, Sherry, told me that I should do Don't Look Down because some fans actually took that song wrong, or had a misconception of that, being he was too boastful, and some other things. So what do you think? Should I do Don't Look Down next, or is there another song you think was maybe misunderstood or that you would like to see me break down? Let me know in the comments, and I will check you in the next one, guys. Hangover Gang is forever.
Maybe we're the wild ones, wild ones, wild ones. Maybe we're the wild ones, wild